Hi, today's session is going to be focused around a post-run yoga stretch. You can do this if you don't run, if you don't like running. Running is not a requirement for this, but the stretches that we do are great if you do run. If you were to do this right after a run, you could theoretically skip the first Sun Salutation because you are already warm. But if you're doing this on any other day, maybe the day after a run is a really nice time to do this, then definitely do all the Sun Salutations just to warm your body up. Prop-wise, you will or might need a belt. If you don't have a yoga belt, then just use the towel, belt of bathrobe, scarf, anything like that. And a yoga block as well. And as always, if you don't have a yoga block, just use a book, a roll-up blanket, a cushion. And this time, I would also recommend having a thin cushion like this or a roll-up blanket ready, because we're going to be doing something on our knees that might be a little bit, if your knees are a bit iffy, that might be a little bit uncomfortable. So that's where the cushion will come in really handy. If you don't have a cushion near, then you can just roll up your yoga mat. I'll show that whilst you do yoga. And as always, if you have any pain at any point whilst we're doing yoga, then please come out of the pose. There might be a few poses, or there's definitely a few poses today that might be just uncomfortable because we're going to deep stretches. And that is a different kind of feeling, that actual pain, shooting pain, or even if the discomfort becomes too much, just come out. If there's any poses you don't like, skip them or do something else, or wait for a standing or in child's pose or whatever. This is your time, your yoga practice. I'm just giving you suggestions. And that's pretty much it. Just be mindful of your body and enjoy. And as this is sort of a post-run focus, obviously it can be done also if you don't run. Sometimes after running, especially the day after running, your hips might be quite tight, so if we're starting and cross-legged, you could use a block to put that under your seat and just sit on there. And that elevating your seat means that you can sit more upright, more comfortably, and also takes the intensity early on out of your hips. That's obviously up to you. And if you don't want to sit cross-legged at all in some other way, then do that. Okay, let's, however we're sitting, let's place our hands either on our lap or on our knees with palms facing up. Let's try to sit up straight, so have our spine sucked over our hips, our shoulders, our rib cage are over our hips. Find a comfortable place. Throw our shoulders up, back and down, opening, pulling our shoulder blades together a little bit, opening our chest a little bit, but still sitting really nicely relaxed. And if you want, you can close your eyes as we relax here. I'm going to breathe in and out through the nose. And we're going to breathe that way throughout our yoga practice. It's quite natural that at some point during challenging poses, you might inhale or exhale through your mouth. And that is totally fine. But whenever you notice this, bring your breath back to in and out through the nose. By breathing in and out through the nose, we warm the air up before it hits our lungs. The hairs in our nostrils are able to filter out any impurities, and we're also adding moisture to the air, so it's a much more organic way to breathe. Breathing here. And as we breathe, let's maybe notice where we feel the breath in our body. Do we feel it in our abdomen, in our chest, in our ribs? It's okay wherever you feel it. One deep inhale now, inhaling fully as you can. And then maybe exhaling through the mouth, maybe with a sigh even. One more, inhaling fully as much as you can. And exhaling. One inhale here. And at the end of the exhale, let's open our eyes. Lovely. Start with a little mobilization here as we sit. It's going to place our left hand next to our glutes. It can be in that sort of tent, spider, fingery position. We're going to inhale, reaching the right arm over. Maybe the whole palm is coming to the ground. We're reaching over here. Exhale. Inhale and exhale. We're pushing into the left hand. We're coming over to the other side, stretching over, right hand on the floor now. Inhale. Exhale here. Inhale and exhale. We're pushing over to the left again. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. We're pushing on the exhale into the hand. Inhale. We're reaching over. Exhale. Inhale and exhale. We're pushing into the hand again. Inhale over. We're staying here for another little breath. Inhale, exhale. Reaching with those right fingers as far as we can. Feeling the stretch in our side body, in the right shoulder. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale and exhale. Pushing into the left hand. We're coming to the other side. Reaching over. Inhale. Again, feeling that stretch in the shoulder. The left side, the ribs. Feeling the right side contract. One more breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, exhale, pushing into the right hand. We're coming to center. Lovely. We're going to do our little seated twist. So we're going to place the right hand on the left knee. The left hand also again in those 10 fingers behind the glutes. And we're going to inhale, exhale, we twist. And we twist from the hip, from the ribs, from the shoulder, not from the neck. Inhale and exhale, we're coming through center. Left hand on the right knee, right hand behind us. Inhale, we're stretching up, and exhale, we twist. Again, the neck follows. You can also just look just to the side of you. Inhale, exhale, we change over, right hand, left knee. Inhale, we're sitting tall. Exhale, we twist. Inhale and exhale, we change over, left hand, right knee. Inhale, we're sitting up tall, and exhale, we're twisting here. Inhale, exhale, other side, right hand, left knee, left hand behind us, I'm staying here. Inhale, sitting up tall, exhale, we twist. And as we twist, feel your back muscles engage. Inhale, maybe sitting up a little taller again, and exhale, possibly twisting a bit more, feeling our back work. Inhale, exhale. Last inhale here, and exhale, other side. Left hand, right knee, right hand behind us. Inhale, sitting up nice and tall. Exhale, we're twisting. Feeling also how the opposite shoulder, the left shoulder works as we're pulling a little on that knee. Inhale, we're sitting up tall. Exhale. Inhale and exhale, coming through center. Lovely. Now we're going to do our seated forward fold. So we're going to place our hands in front of us. We're going to gently, gently, gently walk our hands in front of us. And here you might feel quite, depending on whether you run or not, quite an intense stretch in your glutes. And placing your hands on the ground, if you want and if you can reach, you can bring your elbows to the floor. And we're just looking to the ground, the space between our thumbs. Breathing here. Inhale, we're pushing into our hands, and exhale, we're walking our hands back towards us. We're going to change, if we're sitting cross-legged, we're going to change the order of our feet. So whatever foot was in front or on top, we're going to change that over. So we stretching the other glute as well. Hands in front of us again, and we're walking forward. Elbows to the ground or not, depending on what feels comfortable. We're staying here for a few breaths. And on the next inhale, we're pushing into our hands, and exhale, we're walking hands towards us. All right, great. We're going to come to kneeling. And here, actually, we're already using props in our warm-up. Getting a block, or if you don't have a block, like a thick book or something, we're going to place that in front of us. And we're going to stretch our toes. So I find that if we stretch after a run, and I personally am really bad at stretching after a run, I'm just like, I'm done now, and just stop. I think you'll stretch your, I don't know, let's say your calves or your hips or whatever, but we're not great, or at least, I'm not great at stretching, as you have just heard. We're not great at stretching our feet. So we've done this a while ago before in our yoga practice, but let's do this again together. So what we're doing is we're coming onto our toes, going to try and have our big toes touch, and maybe spread our toes really wide. Could even help out with your hand pulling the little toe, so that the little toe is in touch with the ground. And we're bringing our block under our knees. We're resting our knees on our block, and we're going to sit here. And as you sit, the more stacked you are, like the more your shoulders are right over your hips, the more intense the stretch on your toes is going to be. If you find it's really uncomfortable, you could just bring your hands down and do it a little bit more like this. But we're going to sit here for a little while now, and you can also experiment with whether your ankles, the inside of your feet, whether they touch or whether you spread them apart. And what I personally find, it might be really different for you, is that when I pull my ankles apart, I'm more in touch with the ground with my little toe, so the little toe is getting more stretched. When I bring my heels together, heels and ankles together, the stretch is a lot stronger on my big toe. And as we sit here, you also feel that you're stretching your Achilles heel, or you might. And we're just sitting here, and this is the kind of, when I say that, when you think of not being in a pose because it's painful, like you never want to cause pain. I find this actually really uncomfortable. I don't know about you. And that's where I think that this is a really good pose to understand the difference between pain caused by something, where you have like a shooting pain because something's just not working for you, or discomfort that you want to stop, but also where you're like, I think this is doing something for me. However, if at any point you're done with this, if you're like, okay, this is just hell, I don't want to do this anymore, just come out already. Stay for another 3 breaths maybe, nice slow breaths. Okay, and now to come out, let's bring our hands out in front of us. We're taking the intensity out of the stretch. Then we can lift our knees off the block, take that block to the side, and come back to kneeling. Let's sit here for a moment, having an adjustment happen. Great, and I'll just sit down. And whilst we wait for our feet to calm down a bit, this is also what will be interesting for you to notice maybe as we flow through our Sun Salutations in a little bit, is to see whether you're finding down dog different to how you normally do, because down dog as well, but also plank, because having stretched our toes, somehow plank feels a lot more sturdy, at least to me. Anyway, so we're going to sit here. Here again, you could, already using a prop, you could use a belt. We're going to do a quick calf stretch. So we're sitting in cross-legged, and then you bring your right foot, you bring the sole of the foot to the ground, bending the knee, and we're going to interlace our hands and bring those behind our foot. And we're going to try to sort of kick, and you don't really have to straighten your leg here, but if you find this really unachievable for you to actually reach your foot and stretch your leg, then use a belt and have it as long or as short as you want. It's totally fine. Let's do a few of these. So let's bring our foot in our hand, bring our thigh closest to our body, or close to our body into our chest. Let's try to still sit up tall, and then kicking into our hands, straightening that leg, stretching the back of our leg already, bringing it in, kicking the foot, bringing it in, straightening our leg, bringing it in. One more time, straightening and bringing it in. Lovely. Going to do the other side now. So again, sitting cross-legged, bringing the sole of the left foot on the ground, neck, knees bent, interlacing our hands. We're using our belt to bring first our thigh into our body, and then we're going to kick and bend, kick and bend. One more time after this. Lovely, and now we're bringing it down, and we can place our belt to the side for the moment. Okay, it's coming to tabletop. I'm going to do a few rounds of cat-cow. What we might not notice whilst we run is we actually use our back quite a lot, so we want to release our back as well. So for tabletop, our hands are under our shoulders, wrists, elbows, and shoulders are stacked on top. Hands are nice and wide. Back is flat, knees are under hips. Toes can be tucked or pointing backwards, whatever you prefer. We're going to inhale into a cow. We're arching our spine, we're looking to the ceiling. Exhale, we're pushing the ground away, chin to chest, belly button towards the spine, rounding the back for our cat. Inhale, arching the spine, maybe bringing the shoulder blades together, maybe bending those elbows, looking up. Exhale, pushing the ground away, pulling the shoulder blades apart, squeezing all the air out of our lungs, tucking the pelvis. Inhale into our cow, looking up, really exaggerating that arching the spine, really nice. Exhale, pushing the ground away. Imagine you're trying to bring your hips really close to your arms, through your arms. Obviously you're not, but just imagine it arching that spine. Inhale into our cow. Baby elephant sitting on your lower back, really deep bend here. Exhale, pushing the ground away, chin to chest. One more either side. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And at the end of our exhale, we're coming to our neutral spine. Lovely. We're going to tuck our toes. Tuck our toes. And we're going to lift into our first downward dog. We're going to push into hands. Our hands stay in the same position really as they were in our cat-cow. Hands are shoulder width apart, middle fingers pointing forward, fingers are really nice and wide. Whole hand is pushing into the ground, not just the ball of the hand. Arms are straight, shoulders are away from the ears, shoulder blades slide, pulling apart. We have a flat back. If that means that we need to bend our knees, that is totally fine, especially if we're sore from running. We're engaging our core, we're looking to our toes. Our feet are parallel to the long sides of the mat. Toes are pointing forward. Feet are about hip width apart. Imagine pulling your heels to the mat. You don't have to bring them in touch with the mat, but just pulling them towards the mat to activate our calves. 2 breaths here, just to remember how we set ourselves up for later. And we're going to walk our feet in baby steps towards our hands. We're stopping behind our hands, maybe about foot width, foot length behind, however is comfortable. And we're going to hang here for a moment. Maybe swaying from side to side if you want, waking up our back a little bit more. And stopping at center, bending our knees, chin to chest, and rolling up. Coming to standing. We're going to come to the front of our mat. We're going to come into Tadasana, mountain pose. So for that, you can either have your feet together, toes touching, or feet hip width apart. As we stand here, we're going to lift all our toes off the mat, spreading them wide, lowering them one at a time. Little toe, fourth toe, middle toe, second toe, and big toe. Maybe raising our heels. We're engaging our pelvic floor, our perineum, engaging our core, making a strong, firm middle. Bring shoulders up, back and down. Shoulder blades slightly together, opening our chest, palms forward. We're looking ahead. Chin is slightly tucked, head is nice and tall. Stand here for one moment. Inhale, exhale. From Tadasana, we're inhaling our arms up and exhale, engaging the core, flat back, we're coming down. Inhale, half forward fold, fingers, hands to shins, or you could also bring fingertips to mat if you're already warm. Exhale, and stepping back with the right foot, followed by the left foot into a plank. In plank, we're pushing our heels back, pushing the hands into the ground. Nice straight line in the back. Inhale and exhale, coming down, knees, chest and chin. 8-point pose, thumbs up in the air, elbows are into the body. Inhale, sliding forward. Exhale, we're pushing into our hands and coming into our first down dog, maybe stepping our feet in a little bit. This first round of Sun Salutations, theoretically you could skip if you just came home from a run and you're already warm. But if you're doing this the day after your run, or without running at all, it's always good to warm up. And next inhale, we're stepping our right foot in between our hands, followed by the left foot on the exhale. Inhale, hands to shins for a half forward fold or fingertips to mat. Exhale, full forward fold, hands to mat, palm in touch with the ground, maybe bending the knees. Inhale, engaging our core and we're coming up. Exhale, hands into heart center. Lovely. Next one. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, falling down. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, hands down. We're stepping back with the left foot, followed by the right foot. In plank, pulling our heels back. Maybe noticing if our feet, if our toes feel a bit more supple, a bit more in touch with the ground. After that toe stretch. Inhale and exhale, knees down, chest down, chin down. Inhale, sliding forward. Exhale into cobra. Exhale, we're pushing into downward dog. Staying here for a few breaths. Inhale, stepping forward with the left foot in between our hands, followed by the right foot on the exhale. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, full forward fold. Inhale, engaging the core, we're coming up. Exhale, hands into heart center. Sounds like I'm by the sea with the seagulls. I'm really sorry, I don't know what's going on out there. Okay, next round. And now we're going to start adding those really nice hip and leg stretches. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, we're folding down. Inhale, half forward fold, fingertips to mat or hands to shins, depending on what you feel like. Exhale, hands down. We're stepping back with the right foot as far as we can. Really nice long step down, back. And we're lowering our knee and tucking the toes. We're coming into a low lunge. Bring your hands on your thigh. And here, if you find that really uncomfortable on your knee, you could use that cushion. Just bring that under your knee, or if you don't have a cushion nearby, you could just lift your knee, roll your mat over, and have a bit of double cushioning here. Just depends on how you're feeling today. But the longer the step is in our low lunge, the more you're going to be stretching, especially that right hip flexor. And you can try, the main thing is we don't want our knee to go beyond our ankle, but with this long step back, you could try to push that knee a little further, because we've got a little bit of space here, and feel that stretch in the hip. Breathing here for one more. Okay, and now we're going to push into that left foot, and we're coming, flex that back foot, the right foot, and we're coming into this half split version. So the heel of the left foot, the front foot is against the ground, but the toes are flexed and lifted. And we're coming down here, hands either side of the calf or either side of the foot, the heel, and maybe by bending forward a little bit, you feel a nice stretch in the back of your leg, the hamstring, maybe also inner thigh. One more breath here. And inhale, coming through, we're coming back forward here, coming back into our lunge, untucking the back toes again. And now, here also you could use your belt, depending. You could try and kick up that back leg, the right leg now, for a quad stretch on the right. You can either just kick it up like this and leave it hanging in the air. If you can't reach your foot with your hand, might challenge your balance a bit. We can see if we can bring the loop of our belt around our foot and pull it in a little bit like that. Or maybe you can reach your foot with one or even both hands and pulling the foot towards your glutes. Stretching again, that hip flexor on the right, but also the quad on the right quite a bit. Breathing here. Trying to still have both shoulders squared in line with the short edge of your mat, not have the right shoulder pull back, want them in line. Okay, one more breath here. Inhale and exhale, let go. And we're going to tuck the right toes. We're going to bring our hands either side of the front foot, lifting the right knee up and stepping back with the left as well now in our plank. Inhaling and plank, and exhale, knees down, chest down, chin down. And now we're sliding forward into our cobra. Elbows into the body, toes untucked, we're looking forward. Exhale, we're tucking the toes, coming into our downward dog, maybe stepping our feet in, doing whatever we need to be comfortable in our down dog. Maybe you can bend one knee to bring straighten the other leg, bringing the heel of the straight leg down and changing that around. That could increase the stretch in your calf, doing what feels good. If you are walking your feet, let's come to stillness. And the next inhale, we're stepping our right foot in between our hands, followed by the left foot. Inhale, half forward fold, hands to shins, or fingertips to mat. Exhale, full forward fold. Inhale, engaging the core, and we're coming up. Exhale, hands into heart center. So the same thing on the other side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, folding down. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, stepping back with the left foot. And again, a really nice long step. I'm bringing the left knee down and tucking the left toe. So I'm coming into this low lunge, hand on my thigh. Feeling the stretch now in the left hip flexor here. Maybe pushing that right knee a bit more forward, but making sure that the knee doesn't go beyond our ankle. Lovely. Really feeling that stretch. One more breath. Okay, bring our hands either side of the foot now. The right foot, we're tucking the back toes, the left toes, and we're coming into this half split on our right. And again, here you can use that cushion or roll up your mat. And it might be different from the other side. Maybe on the right side you didn't need it, but on the left you feel you do. So it's totally fine. Coming into this forward fold, hands somewhere along the leg for extra support. And inhale, coming back into our lunge. Untucking the toes. I'm going to stay either here and kick up our foot so that it's just floating in the air for that quad stretch. If you can't reach the foot, use your belt to make that loop around, challenging our balance once more. And pulling that foot in that way. Or if you can reach the foot, you grab the foot with your hand, maybe one hand, maybe both hands. But whatever you do, try to pull your left shoulder forward so it's parallel with the right rather than being sort of a bit uneven in your shoulders. Really pulling, the more you pull your foot into the glutes, the more you feel that calf stretch. And if you don't feel it, even though it's really much in, then you can bend that front knee a bit more to feel that stretch. Okay, and letting go of the foot, bringing the left foot down, moving our belt out of the way if it is in the way. Hands either side of the front foot, left foot tucked, lifting the left knee, stepping back with the right. Inhale here, exhale, knees down, chest down, chin down. And I was sliding forward into cobra. So we're pushing back into a down dog. Stepping our feet in a little bit, and maybe if we want, we can walk our dog again here. Bending one knee, straightening the other. The heel of the straight leg might be able to touch the ground, but no problem if it doesn't. Okay, coming to stillness, staying for a few more breaths. With the next inhale, we're stepping the left foot in between our hands, followed by the right foot. On the exhale, inhale, hands to shins, or fingertips to mat for a half forward fold. Exhale, full forward fold. Inhale, gauging the core, we're coming up with a flat back. Inhale, hands into heart center. Lovely. One more round, we're going to add some other poses. Inhale, exhale, we're folding down. Inhale, half forward fold, whichever version you prefer. Exhale, hands down, we're stepping back with the right, followed by the left, right into plank. Inhale, exhale, knees down, chest down, chin down. Inhale, we're sliding forward, cobra. Exhale, we're pushing back into our down dog. I'm going to inhale, raise that right foot. Exhale, placing it about foot length behind our hands, and we're coming up here. Coming up, we want our heels sort of in line. So if we look at our front heel and we pull it back, would sort of hit the back heel. Could draw a line. And we're going to come into a triangle. So inhale, we're raising our arms. Exhale, someone's pulling us by that right hand. And exhale, we're folding down. You could use a block. If you have it handy, place that on the inside of your right foot. Rest your hand on the block. Or you can place your hand on your thigh, on your calf. Maybe you can even bring your hand on your foot. Staying here, feeling that stretch in our side body, working our shoulders, but also the stretch in our inner thigh. Trying to stack our hips on top of each other, our shoulders on top of each other, making us flat. Imagining a cord between two planes of piece of glass. Okay, inhale, let's look to our right foot. Exhale, let's come up. We're going to place our hands on our hips, And we're going to walk our right foot a little bit to the outside edge of the mat. We want to create space in the middle between our feet so that we can bring our hips square to the front, and having that space between our feet will create that. We're now not on a tightrope like we were before, but we're on train tracks with our feet. Bring your hands on our hips. Inhale, we're looking to the ceiling. Exhale, we're folding down. We're bringing our hands, you can either bring them on your calf or on the thigh, or even on the ground. Coming into this is pyramid pose. And stretching here the back of our leg. Pulling the right hip back, the left hip forward a bit, so that our hips are in line with the short edge, the front edge of the mat. Inhale, we're looking up. Exhale, hands on our hips. Inhale, we're coming up safely. And exhale, stepping forward. Now I need to go through the vinyasa again. Bringing our feet together again. We're doing the same thing on the other side. Actually, I'll do that from the other side so you can see it a bit better. Alright. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, engaging the core. We're folding down. Inhale, forward fold. Hands to shins, or fingertips to mat. Exhale, stepping back with the left, followed by the right. Into our plank. Pulling the heels back. Inhale, exhale, knees down, chest down, chin down. Inhale, we're sliding forward into cobra. Exhale, we're pushing back into our down dog. Inhale, we're lifting our left leg up, and we're stepping sort of halfway in our mat, or about a foot length behind our hands. Bring the back foot down, we're coming up here. Again, looking at our feet. You want to be on that tightrope, so the right foot is on the tightrope and the left foot, the front foot, and the heel of the right foot, the back foot, is also on that tightrope. Coming into Tripanasana. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, someone's pulling you by that front hand. Exhale, we're folding down. You either bring your hand, you could bring your hand on that block if you have it nearby, on your thigh, on your shin, maybe on the foot. And again, making yourself really flat, stacking your hips on top of each other. And by doing that, by stacking, you might actually feel your hands slide up your leg because you're sort of creating more space, and that is totally fine. Shoulders are on top of each other. Arm is reaching up, or if that's uncomfortable, you can also bring the hand on your hip, reaching up. You want to be flat. It's a bit like in Star Wars, when they're in that room where the walls are closing in on them. Imagine the walls are really close and you only have a couple of centimeters, so you make yourself super flat. Okay. Inhale, exhale with the next inhale, we're looking to our big toe, left big toe, and then we're coming up. Lovely. Alright, we're doing the same thing as we just did, so walking our left foot to the outside edge of the mat. So we're now on train tracks with our feet. The toes of the right foot, the back foot are pointing forward. So on train tracks here, hands are on our hips. Lovely. Pushing both hips forward so they're in line, they're parallel again. We're trying to get them as parallel as we can. Inhale, looking to the ceiling, and exhale, coming down. Hands either on the thigh, on the calf, or maybe they're coming to the ground for our pyramid here. Pulling the left hip back, the right hip forward. We're staying here for a few breaths, feeling that stretch in the back of the leg. Okay, inhale, we're coming up onto our fingertips. Exhale, hands onto our hips. Inhale, coming up, and exhale, stepping forward. Ooh, maybe losing our balance like I just demonstrated very nicely. Well done, guys. Okay, we're almost time to come to the floor, and we're now going to do our balance. For our balance, we're doing 3, And I think tree is really, it's really fun. I think it's fun. And also, it's a really great way to strengthen the muscles in your feet. Obviously by running we use our feet a lot, we're on our feet. But just standing in tree, and you could even just do a baby tree where you have your foot against your calf, or even like supporting the toe on the ground whilst you brush your teeth. I mean, I'm not doing that, but if you're wanting to try and get that into your everyday, a bit more balance, and you'll notice that really soon, like how your foot has to adjust whilst you move or whilst you sort of just stand there. Now really, that you really work your foot muscles. So let's start standing on the left. So we're going to get our foot ready. We're lifting our toes off the ground again, spreading them wide, lowering them one at a time, and then maybe lifting the heel. Nice firm grounding. I'm going to talk to you through all the options. So first option for tree, the toes are on the floor, heel is just above the ankle. This is great, this is tree. Like, don't think this is not tree just because you're not like balancing or the foot is in touch with the ground, you are balancing. Next option would be the foot against the calf. It's a lovely, lovely version. The next option, this is where probably you need your hand to help, is bring your foot against the inner thigh. This is also great, might require a bit more work. Here, push your foot against the inner thigh, but also keep the standing leg, the left leg straight. So the left leg is pushing against the foot is pushing against the left leg. That increases stability. You can have your hands, you can have your hands on your hips, oh Jesus, and find a spot to look at. Not me, obviously, because I'm wobbling right now. On the floor, on the wall, something that's not moving. Hands on hips, hands on heart. We're staying here for another 3 breaths, or maybe 5 breaths, why not? Okay, inhale, let's release. Let's shake that foot. And as you might notice, it's really difficult to balance. I find it particularly difficult when I'm talking, but also you can't really balance and think too much. You have to be quite in the moment. So it's a really nice way maybe to clear your mind. I wouldn't necessarily say if you worry, do a tree. Like, I think some worries are perfectly reasonable. But yeah, just sort of maybe noticing that as we do the other side, how your mind kind of, it drops all everything that might be going on in it normally. So we're doing our right foot now, lifting the toes, spreading them wide, lowering them one at a time, lifting our heel, nice firm grounding. First option, toes on the floor, heel above the ankle, lovely. Next option, foot against the calf, also really nice. Or helping with the hand, foot against the inner thigh. And here again, straightening that standing leg, pushing the left foot against the inner thigh, pushing the right leg against the foot, standing here. Finding that spot to look at for focus. And standing here, hands on heart center, hands on hip, whatever feels comfortable. And maybe now notice how your mind becomes a bit clearer as you're working on this balance. And also, you will notice that one side is easier, possibly, than the other. And that's to do with just being right or left-handed, being stronger on one side. If you fall out of it, that's fine. 2 more breaths here. Okay, let's come out of it together now. The whole thing about shaking the standing foot, the whole thing about falling out of a balance, I used to get really frustrated at myself, and now I just tend to laugh because it's just no point in being frustrated. Okay, we're going to do one more vinyasa with a few poses. Actually, here you might need your block, so have that ready at the foot of your mat. And standing, feet together, front of our mat. Last-ish vinyasa. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, folding down. Now half fold, hands to shins or fingertips to mat. Exhale, we're stepping back with the right foot, followed by the left foot. Inhale, exhale, we're coming down, knees, chest and chin. And then with that sliding forward into cobra. Exhale, we're pushing back into down dog. In down dog, we're stepping our feet in a little bit. Now inhale, let's raise our right leg up. And we're stepping the right foot outside the right hand. So the foot is now on the edge of the mat, maybe slightly off the mat. We're bringing the left knee down and tucking the toes. This is lizard pose. Quite a intense hip opener. If you're standing here, hands on the floor, knee against your right upper arm, right knee against your right upper arm. If you want to stay here, stay here. You could also try coming onto your forearms, coming onto the left forearm first, and then seeing if we can come onto the right forearm. If you can't bring your elbow to the ground, that is no problem at all. Take your block from the front of your mat, place it against the inside of the right foot, and rest your right forearm on the block. We've just lifted the floor off the ground, making it more accessible to us. So using the block or not, but whatever you do, try to have your knee still more or less over your ankle. Don't let it flare out too much, fall out too much to the side. Staying here for another 3 breaths. Okay, let's place the right hand on the floor next to the right foot, pushing into the right hand, coming onto the left hand. Lizard on our hands again. We're tucking the left toes, lifting the left knee, and we're coming back into a down dog from here. And now we're lifting again. We're lifting the right foot again into the air, and now we're coming into pigeon. So right foot behind the left hand, right knee behind the right hand. Bringing down the back knee and tucking the left toes, or maybe walking our foot back a little bit. The more you walk your foot back, the longer you are in your legs, the more intense the stretch is going to be on the right glute. I was saying here for a moment, if you think, hey, I think I could go a little further, I could stretch a little more, rather than being on your hands, just come onto your forearms. Staying here. If you think you can come further than this, come onto your chest. But that doesn't mean that any of the previous versions are less worthy. They're all equally doing the stretch. It's just a matter of what feels good to you. Staying wherever we are for 3 more breaths. Okay, if you've come onto your chest, come onto your forearms. If you're on your forearms now, bring your hands on your shoulders, tucking the left toes, pushing back into a down dog. We're doing the same thing on the other side now, so we're lifting the left leg into the ceiling. Stepping forward the left foot outside the left hand. And so it's possibly just coming off the mat, just on the edge of the mat. Untucking the right toes. You can either stay here in this lizard, or if you wanted to, you can try come onto your forearms, so coming onto the right forearm first. And now seeing if we can come onto the left forearm. So the forearm is on the ground next to the sole of next to the inside of the left foot. If that's really difficult, take that block that's at the front of your mat, place it on the inside of your left foot, place your forearm on the block. As I said, you've just lifted the ground to make this more accessible, more comfortable. Using the block or not, we're going to try not to have our knee fall out, but to have our knee over our ankle, knee against our shoulder. 3 breaths here, or wherever we are. Okay, we come onto your forearms, just place the left hand on the ground, pushing in, placing the right hand on the ground. Tucking the right toes, lifting the right knee, and we're stepping back into a down dog. And inhale, we're lifting our left leg up into the air again. Now we're coming to pigeon. Left foot behind the right hand, left knee behind the left hand. Right knee comes to the ground, maybe walking that foot back a little bit, or maybe not. And tucking the toes. We can either stay here on our hands, or if we wanted to, we could come onto our forearms, or if we wanted to, come onto our chest. Wherever we are, making sure we feel the stretch in our glutes, in our left glutes now. Not feeling any pain, being gentle on ourselves. 2 more breaths. Okay, if you were on your chest, come onto your forearms. If you're on your forearms, come back onto your hands. And we're just going to flop to the left side now and come into seated. We're going to come into Paschimottanasana, where our legs are out in front of us. And from here, we're going to get our belt. Sitting with our legs out in front of us, getting our belt if we want for our seated forward fold. We do this a lot, but let's do it again briefly. Either placing the belt around the balls of the feet, sitting up nice and tall, pulling ourselves down here, or inhaling our arms up, exhale, grabbing wherever we can grab, and keeping a flat back. You don't want to hold your feet and round your back like that. Keeping the chest open, hinging from the hip, flat back. Same for 3. Okay, inhale, we're looking up, and exhale, we're coming back to seated. We're going to pull our feet towards us, feet soles of the feet together. For our cobbler pose, you can have the feet as close to your groin as you can, or as far away as is comfortable. Do what feels good to you. Feet, soles of the feet slightly apart, maybe placing the fingers on the back of the feet, thumbs on the balls of the feet, pulling the feet apart like the pages of a book, and sitting here for a few breaths. Okay, let's stretch our right leg out now. The left foot is against the inner thigh of the right. A bit like tree just now, but seated. Want to make sure that our chest is not facing in between our legs, but over the straight leg. Again, here you could use a belt to hold on to, or inhaling the arms up, exhaling, touching the calf, ankle, foot. In Janu Shasana, head to knee pose. And pulling down again here, flat back, hinging from the hip, looking towards the big toe. That's our drishti. Breathing here, feeling the stretch in the back of the leg. Inhale, we're looking up. Exhale, sliding back, sitting upright. We're bringing that right foot again into our cobbler, into Baddha Konasana, so feet together. Sitting here for a moment, sitting nice and tall, feeling the stretch in our inner thigh. Lovely. All right, now we're stretching out the left leg straight, right leg staying in touch with the inner thigh, like tree, having our chest face the straight leg, not in between our legs, and either with our belt around our foot, like so, around the ball of the foot, or Inhaling the arms up, exhaling down, and staying here for 3. Inhale, we're coming up. Exhale, coming out. And coming back into our cobbler for a second. Bring your feet to the ground. We're lying down, soles of the feet on the floor. Soles of the feet on the floor. And knees bent, knees to the ceiling. Bringing our feet as close as we can to our glutes, maybe walking them back a little bit, seeing if we can touch them with our fingers. If not, that's okay as well. We're going to stay here for 1 sec. Inhale, exhale. And inhale, we're going to first close the gap between our lower back and the mat. So you could bring your hands under your back here and just feel there's generally a little gap as you lie in neutral spine because our spine is obviously curved. And by engaging our core and pressing the back into the mat, you're closing that gap. So that's the first step. And after doing that, we're pulling our pelvis up and lifting from the hip, from the lower back, middle back, lifting our body up, pushing into the feet. By pushing into the feet, pushing the chest towards the chin. We're looking to the ceiling. Breathing here. Okay, and coming out. Great. Hugging our knees into our chest, rocking from side to side. And stopping in the middle, bringing our feet back to the ground. We're doing one more bridge here. Placing our feet hip width apart, knees pointing to the ceiling, touching our heels, hands either side of us. And we're going to inhale, close that gap between our spine and the mat. Exhale and inhale, we're lifting our pelvis, hip, back from the ground, pushing into those feet, really creating roundness in the spine and trying to keep our knees pointing forward. Don't want to fold them out, flare them out. Knees are pointing forward. Inhale and exhale. Let's push. Roll down, upper spine, middle spine, lower spine, glutes. Hugging our knees into our chest one more time. And rocking from side to side. Okay. When we're on the right, the next time we're dropping our knees to the right. Arms are at shoulder level like a capital T. And we're looking, palms are to the ceiling and we're looking to the left hand. And here the closer your knees are to the arm, the higher up the knees are, the more intense that side stretch, the twist is going to be. So if you're finding that a bit much, just bring the knees further down. Closing the eyes, breathing here for a few moments. Inhaling, bringing the knees into the chest again, into center, dropping them to the other side. So knees to the left now, arms are still at shoulder level. As we've moved our legs, let's have a look at either arm to make sure they're at shoulder level because we've moved our body a bit. Looking to the right now, palms are still facing the ceiling, and we're closing our eyes. inhale, we're bringing our legs into the center again. Let's hug our knees into our body. Maybe we get our arms around our shins, hugging our knees, and then letting go, stretching our legs out in front of us for Shavasana, our final relaxation. Our feet are hip to mat width apart or wider if you prefer. Our shoulders are relaxed, shoulder blades are maybe pulling a bit together, opening the chest, arms are by the side of our body, palms sort of next to the hips, but with quite a gap between the hands and our body. Palms facing up. Chin is slightly tucked to have that nice flat neck again. Let's take one deep inhale here, deep inhale into the nose. And sigh on the exhale, letting go of any tension. So that one more time, inhale. And sigh on the exhale. By sighing, we're letting go of any final muscles that we're holding on to, really bringing the body nice and soft into the ground. Relaxing all muscles, also the facial muscles. So our forehead is smooth. There's no tension around the eyes, tension around the nose. The jaw is relaxed as well. Slight gap between the teeth maybe. Tongue is lying in the mouth, it's not glued to the roof of the mouth. As we're lying here, we're feeling where the body is in contact with the ground. Shoulders, the middle back, the bum, the glutes, be part of your thighs, the back of the legs, calves, heels of the feet, our upper arms as well, forearms, back of the hands, the back of the head, all pressing heavily into the ground. And also let's notice where the air is touching our body, feet, toes. Maybe our legs, depending if wear shorts, our arms, palms, face, our ears being played around by the air. Let's notice how the fabric is feeling against our skin as well. Is it comfortable? Is it soft? Is it maybe a little bit too tight? Just noticing it and relaxing. wrists. Bring your feet together. Bring your arms overhead. With a nice full body stretch. Pointing the toes, pulling the fingers back as far as you can. And release. Bring your knees into your chest one more time, rocking from side to side. A little massage of the lower back. And when you're on the right, next, dropping your knees to the right, bringing your head on the right upper arm as a cushion. Inhale, exhale here, and inhale, it's pushing into the left hand, coming up. Alright, great. Let's come to seated for a moment. And we're going to inhale, make a nice big circle with our arms. Exhale, pulling down. Inhale, we're going to bring the thumbs to the space between our eyebrows, the third eye, for clear and kind thoughts. Thumbs to our throat, for clear and kind words. Thumbs to heart center, for clear and kind feelings. And if you want, bow with gratitude to the practice of yoga and gratitude to ourselves for moving today. Thank you so much for being with me.